something I've been saying a lot to myself is I'm trying not to say it's a lot, but I keep saying it's not a little. I will definitely say it's not been a little. You know, it's so interesting, and we talked about this at the beginning of quarantine together, when about a month before we even knew about coronavirus and a month before we even like went into lockdown, I don't believe anything happens randomly, but I was on Amazon and I got hit with an ad for Joel Osteen's new book, The Power of I Am. And I was like, you know what? Let me get this book real quick. So I read it for about the month before we started quarantine, and the entire book was about favor and a famine. And it was about preparing your mind for when life happens, you know? And I was like, I remember reading it and my spirit just kept saying, you need to be diligent over this study. Like, and I didn't know what that book was preparing me for, but it made complete sense once quarantine started happening. So I will definitely say it's been not a little, you know. I'm a teacher, so your kids have a lot of questions right now, you know, and not just about, what I do love about this time is that it's not just about the singing and the dancing and the acting questions, but they're asking us questions of how can we make our theaters and our classrooms more equitable. It's really, it's not been, it's not been a little, but I will say I do see more good days than I see bad. And for that, I can honestly say with my whole heart, I am very, very good. Still performing, but 5 years ago, I started a company called the Broadway Collective. And again, at the time, I had, you know, when you feel that inner voice when God is like, hey, boo, so this is what you're going to do? And I'm like, wait, you want me to do what? Open an online musical theater program. And at the time, not many people were training students in an online space, but I thought it would be so cool to be able to employ my friends that were Broadway performers, even if they were on a tour, because we could still coach kids, you know, through our smartphones. And again, I had no idea then that when the pandemic hit, how much people would then truly need online education. But you also asked, am I still performing? It's so interesting. I feel that the moment that I was doing Hello Dolly at the time, this is about 2 years ago, and at the time, the Broadway Collective was 2 years old. And I remember thinking to myself, I was like, this is so amazing. You know, we're kicking, we're belting and kicking our legs every night with Bette Midler. Like, what could be better? And then the spirit was like, so it's time for you to go all in and go, go do entrepreneurship and being an educator full time. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me, man. You have got to be kidding me. But the moment that I did that, Angela, that's when other dreams that I had thought about but was too scared to verbalize, they just started showing up at my doorstep. The second I put my notice in, the theater producer from Music Theater of Wichita called me and said, hey, I've got a show I would love for you to choreograph. I was like, what? Another university called and said, hey, I got something I want you to direct and choreograph. And I'm like, this is what I've wanted to do for so long. But I think sometimes those dreams can't be activated in the flesh until we make that leap of faith. And then it opens up the doorway for other people to see us in a different way. And then we get to start, co-creating in that way, if that makes any sense.
Yes, it's so good. But you know what? Because I always thought you waited until Dolly closed. You stepped out on faith. You gave your notice.
We were, it was a few months right after the Tony Awards. It was like my 6-month mark. Like, it was like the day that I could contractually, put in a notice. But what was beautiful, Angela, is that I think we've all as actors, seen when people put in their notice and it's like, oh, we really wanted you to go, or, you know, like I didn't know how the creatives were going to react, because I was the first person to leave, and those people have been so good to me in my career that I wanted to honor what they have done for me, you know. But they were the director, the choreographer, the producer. They were all so gracious and so like, and I just thought, I hope and pray that if I'm ever in a position of leadership, that if someone needed to take a leap of faith, that I could give them the same amount of like wind beneath their wing as well. Now, I know that somebody that's probably listening right now, they have a dream and they have an idea. Will anyone listen, or is what I have to say, is it important? If it is inside of you, it is crucial and vital to life continuing for you and other people to let that thing out. We all say this, right? If you can't see it, how can you be it? You know, so for us, it's all about how can we take a lot of care in when we get a student, what coach we put them with, you know, because, you know, some of them, like some of our, you know, young Black students, they've never had a Black coach.
You knew you wanted to pursue theater when you were 7 years old. Who were your arts heroes? Who were the people that pushed you through, that made you know, I can make it, I can have a career on Broadway?
One of the first Black men that I saw that just like lifted me on a Broadway stage, oh God, I could cry, was seeing Rhett George in Wicked.
Oh!
Yes, because at that time I was a junior in high school. But that's, you know, when you're a junior in high school, that's high decision time for you. You know, you're really trying to figure out, am I going to college for musical theater, or what am I doing? And when I saw Rhett in all of his Rhett George regalness, and like, it, you know, seeing him in that show at the Gershwin, I was like, oh, I can be that, you know? Because it was the first Broadway show I ever saw was actually Bringing the Noise, Bringing the Funk.
Oh, wow.
And so many, I know, that was 1997. I was 10. That was a lot for 10-year-old me to take in, you know? And I remember, it's a favorite show of many of my friends, and they said, I said to them, I was like, I was different than a lot of the boys that were even in my theater classes, because I leaned towards like the classical shows, and I leaned towards like ballet versus tap and hip hop. So when I saw that show, although I saw people, again, we are not a monolith, although I saw people up there that looked just like me, I didn't see myself doing that, right?
Yeah.
Grateful for that moment. Do not get me wrong. Like, do not get me wrong. But when I saw Rhett and I saw that, I was like, oh, that's what I want to be, you know? And when I finally got a chance to meet him, I was like, you have no idea how much that ribbon, you know, he had a ribbon, you know, a ribbon that he danced with, how much that changed my life. And he said, what is so funny is that ribbon started out as a joke. He was like, he picked up the ribbon, he like picked up the ribbon one day and just started, you know, twirling around during a dance. And then they were like, what is that? Put that in the show, you know? And as we know, Rhett, that's just so him. He was just out being Rhett, being himself. But now there are so many Black boys that are like, I want to be the ribbon boy. Or like, we're here because of the ribbon boy.
Yeah. That's Rhett. Oh, that makes me so happy. Because he is just the kindest, sweetest, most talented. Have you seen his monologues on IG?
He is not, I text him and I'll be like, Rhett, I'm going to send you a thermometer because you're not well. There is not one piece of him that is well.
No, everybody, if you get a chance, follow Rhett George and enjoy his weekly, daily, monthly monologues. They are hilarious. Got you, Rhett. So 7 years old. I want to be in theater. You see Bringing the Noise, but you know that was a little different. That wasn't. And then you saw the Ribbon Boy. And then what?
And so I saw the Ribbon Boy. That's so funny. And when I got to college, and there was the most distinguished Black man I've ever met in my life, Professor George Shirley. He was the first Black tenor with the Metropolitan Opera. And this was, I think, in the 50s or in the 60s. And he was my voice teacher at college. And it was so interesting. I remember, there were some people that said, well, you're a musical theater major. Why would you train with an opera teacher, a classical voice teacher? For me, it was more about being around that level of Black excellence, that level of Black resilience, that level of Black wisdom, that level of Black manhood. And he just poured into my life and he let me be me, but he also supported my entrepreneurial dreams even in college. Like I wanted to direct and choreograph, but I was also coaching. He's one of the most special people that even to this day he'll text me and he'll say, young man, I see what you are doing and it is very nice. And he's just the most eloquent and exquisite. But it's shoulders like that, that you stand on. Then there are people like Michael McElroy when you get to New York City and you're like, I've been listening to this music for so many years, and here you are, and you are just as incredible as I would have hoped and more. So there are people like that you realize, my goodness, it's because of you. It's like, it's because of them that this season I'm even able to navigate it.
Yeah. You've had like a lot of successes. The students have gotten in the colleges they've wanted to get into. You help them with their auditions for programs?
Yeah, so it's so great question, Angela. When we first started the company, it was January 24th. We were in New Orleans, Louisiana, and there were, I think, 33 people in class. There were 33 people in the class. 3 of them had paid. 30 of them I had scholarshiped.
I know the feeling.
I was like, y'all know what?
I just want some people here.
So it's just like, we gonna sow some seeds today.
Yes.
We gonna sow some seeds. It was so funny. My mom saw the picture. Oh my gosh, Robert, it's sold out. I said, no, it's full. We're not gonna say sold out, girl. We're not gonna lie. It's full. It's a full class. It's full, okay? But there was a mom that asked me in that first class, she said, what is your greatest dream for the Broadway Collective? And I said, online education. And that was like a moment, But what then ended up happening is about 2 years into the company, some of our kids started going off to college, and I realized they weren't getting into the schools that I knew they could have gotten into, because what was happening is your senior year, you connect with a college coach, and there are some incredible organizations out there that have been doing it for years, and they are amazing at what they do. So I said, all right, enough of these babies not getting in, I believe, where we think that they can get in. So we started our own college prep program, and it's called Pre-Screen Prep. And so we started that. And the success rates now have been incredible. When you come from a single mama household, and there are more mouths than just you to feed, you start figuring out that, hey, if I want to go take that dance class or go to that musical or, get those dance shoes, you're going to have to work for it. And, I've been thinking a lot about that recently of like, would I have wanted to have it any other way? Because I had friends who their parents just had unlimited financial access, but having to meet my mom 50-50 for all of my programming, I got creative as a kid quick when it came to money and when it came to figuring out how to make it using the gifts that God had given me. So I think I was probably 10 or 11 when I opened my first business, and it was called Robert's Crafts to Touch the Heart.
What did you sell?
But here, I sold gift baskets to the women in my church. So, baby, I was doing self-care baskets in the 90s before we even knew what self-care was, okay? I was giving you soaps and little hand lotions and oh yes, and I was selling them to all the ladies in my church. So I would say, Miss Robinson, what is your favorite color? And you would say the color purple. Baby, next Sunday at church, I would have a purple basket lilac soap, a purple washcloth. This is like what I did. This is what I did. But let me tell you, those $25 baskets, I'm here.
Yeah, it adds up. $25, it adds up.
It adds up.
Wow, then you moved to New York and you carried on. You did Broadway Quick Change when you decorated people's dressing rooms. What?
I remember being, filming our first Broadway Quick Change, and I was doing Cinderella at the time, and I was outside. And at this point in my life, I had never been behind the camera with only me, And so that was training for now the ads that we create at the Broadway Collective. I had no idea. I didn't know, whether where was I supposed to look in the camera, and I learned how to use a teleprompter because of Broadway Quick Change. Broadway Quick Change taught me so much. It was also the first time that I started asking Broadway performers and Broadway performer friends for help. I would say, LaShawns, can I please decorate your dressing room? And that was scary for me, but it was preparation for what I'm now doing, which is every week asking people, hey, will you teach my kids? Hey, will you do a Q&A? So it's all prep work if you'll let it be.
So now you look in that camera and you know exactly where to look. And they know, are they like excited when they get you? Like they got all these other coaches, but you are the founder. When they get you as a coach, are they like really excited?
It's that they
yes,
perk up. They perk up because, it's so funny. Like in my life, this is me, right? Like, this is me. I'm with you. We're family. Like, this is us, But with my kids, I turn into my father. And my father is a basketball coach. And he's Coach Hartwell. And he will get you up and down that court and get you together so quick. So when the kids see me, it's like they love me, but it's also like, Dad's here. They're like, and so I feel blessed that they're in my life, but I also feel grateful that truly that their parents trust their child's education with us.
What's your greatest hope for them?
That they spread their joy first and foremost. That they spread their joy because, people usually, they'll say, Angela, What's it gonna be like, when you see your first kid on Broadway? What's it gonna be, And I'm like, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna fall out and y'all gonna have to get a stretcher. But the greatest hope for them is when they find themselves and start sharing themselves. Get around people who also want to start businesses. Get around, it is your squad, it is your squad. I remember, we talk about it, and I know you say this a lot too, Angela, is that we have to be so mindful who we share our dreams with, because I remember sharing the idea with another fellow Broadway performer that I was even thinking about leaving the show. And their reaction was, it was not from a place, it was from a place of support around their mindset of that Broadway was the only way. How else could an artist ever make money but being on Broadway and doing 8 shows a week? So what has been my saving grace has been a community, by community, a small group of 3 women that do much more in business than me. But I would definitely say if there's another artist out there that is saying how, I would get myself around people who are doing the thing that you say that you want to do.
First of all, let me just say, when I saw the photo, I was blown away. But people were telling me about you that didn't know that I knew you. People go, oh, there's this guy, you have to read his story. And I was like, Robert, that's my friend. But people were so moved by your story. Did you expect that would happen when you posted it? Were you just really posting a picture of yourself in front of your new house?
Let me give you a play-by-play of what happened that day. Wednesday morning, it was a Wednesday. Yeah, it was a Wednesday. I drove to the closing. I was given the keys. I then went to the house. My friend Dallin was with me. I said, "Ooh, I got to send a picture to my mom." Took a picture. And I said, you know what? I'm going to put it on Facebook. I said, because I want my friends and family, to see. Wrote a caption really quickly. And then I turned this phone on airplane mode. I turned my phone on airplane mode and went on about my day. What'd you say?
Did you put it on airplane mode?
Because I wanted to enjoy the day of I just bought a house. And I didn't want anybody to text me or to call me. And so I just went on about my day. So Dallin and I had a picnic on the lawn with the realtor and the architect. We just had a good old day. I then drove back to New York. I mean, at this point, my phone has been on airplane mode for probably 10 hours. And I finally realized, oh my gosh, I got to call my mom. I got home about 11 o'clock at night. And I said, oh, I have to call my mom and let her know that I got, in safely. And I opened my phone and I went to call my mom. But the second that I called her, my phone just kept I was like, what is happening on my phone? And my mom said, Robert. And she sounded out of breath. And I was like, girl, what's going on? Are you okay? And she goes, did you see? I was like, Mom, what is going, and so immediately my mind goes to what is wrong? It's COVID. Like, who is gone now? You just jump to the worst in COVID. And she said, Robert, thousands of people have liked your post. And I said, Mom, what are you talking about? She said, your post. I said, Mom, what are you? She said, the post about the house. Have you gone on Facebook? And I said, no. I said, Mom, I just called to let you know that I'm home safe. I said, I'm so tired, but I'm going to go to sleep. And she said, Robert, go on Facebook. There are thousands of comments. And I was like, okay, you're just being dramatic now. I said, okay. So then I go on the Facebook app and I was like, are you serious? So in short, the reason that I put it on Facebook and not on Instagram is because I wanted to keep it quiet. I had no idea. I've been telling all my friends, I'm like, if I would have known that post was going to go viral, I would have made sure that the lighting was right on my face, so I could get my husband. Okay, I would have hit my pose so I could find my Boaz.
I bet some husband perspectives were calling you. You looked great.
A lot of my friends say, you'll just jump, but I truly believe that I do not believe that the universe, it has lessons for us, but I think it wants the best for us. I really do believe that it wants the best for us. And when it hits my spirit, I can't deny it, So even the fact that my family was like, so what did you learn from what did you learn in the house inspection? I said, y'all, I didn't even get the house inspected until after I purchased it. They're like, have you lost your mind? I said, no. I said, I haven't. I said, but when I called I haven't really talked to anybody about this, but the realtor said to me, I've been showing this house for years. Years this house has been on the market. And I said, okay, that's great. I said, but I know that this is my house. And so my broker agent said to me, my sales agent said to me, he was like, well, what I'm going to do is we're going to make a list of 10 houses for you to see when you come up for the day. And I said, friend, I don't need you to do that with your time. I said, I can just see this one house. I said, but if it will make you feel more comfortable, I'll see two others, And so we went to go see the other houses. But when I saw this house, I sat on that property and my spirit was like, home, child, you're home. And I walked through, and is there a mountain of work to do? Yes, God. But I was like, this is it, and then the process just moved so quickly. And within 2 weeks, we had keys, But I'll tell you this one little quick anecdote really quick, because I know you're probably like, child, you did not get an inspection.
So, I wasn't. I didn't even think about it.
But last week I went up to the house to meet with the structural engineer. And, he said to me, he was like, he goes, the bones of this house are incredible. He said, but the reason that it has remained intact for 200 years is the integrity of the foundation. And the way that I about took 10 laps around, I was like, where is my tambourine right now? He was like, the home, yes, there's work to be done, systems that need to, be fleshed. He goes, but your foundation is firm. And I just thought, it just tied in so spiritually for me, what that home represents and what it can be and will be. That those were the words that he chose to impart to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now-
yeah. So, it's so fun, Angela, it's so funny, again, speaking of friends, right? And who are the people that are around you? So one of my best friends, her name is Rachel Rogers. She's a Black entrepreneur. She is a huge reason that my company even exists. The night that the post went viral, her and I got on a call and she said, so you got to go put something up. What do you want for this to be? This could be a TV show. This could be, and I was like, wait, what is happening? So she encouraged me that night to make that website, blackmanwhitehouse.co. And because of that site, the next morning, people started production company started emailing me saying, I've seen your site. I think the concept is great. And I was like, what is happening? But it just comes down to the people that are in your corner that will dream a bigger dream for you than you can even dream or see for yourself. I didn't buy that house to become a TV renovation star. That is not, you know what I mean? I was just like, I'm just trying to buy a house for my husband and babies that are on the way, you know?
Yes, yes. But you know what? This is also that story going back to when you said Broadway Quick Change prepared you for the videos and the stuff filming that you're doing for Broadway Collective, and now you're gonna be on TV. I mean, you're an inspiration.
I'm not, I will say this, after having spent a little time up there, I can definitely see myself living there full time. I'll keep my New York place because I love my home. I love my office here. I love New York. But the idea to live that easy, get in a car life, I mean, I could be here for it. So definitely after the home is like completely, renovated, my idea has been, that I'm spending probably about 70% of my time there and 30% of my time here.
So if your theory is right and things follow suit the way it did when you left Dolly, you have to step out on faith and then other things happen. So probably by the time you move in, the husband and the babies will follow. Because what role has faith had in your journey to being an entrepreneur, being a successful Broadway artist, selling baskets at church? What role has faith had in all of that for you?
It's been everything. And, I told my mom last night, we had prayer together on FaceTime, and I said, Mom, I would not still be here in my right mind without a prayer life. Because, when I said that it's been a friend to me, the thought there was a friend, a good friend, complete, whole, lacking nothing friend. They tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And this year, especially these last couple of months of everything after the house, because I have to tell you, and Angela, we've never talked about this, but I'm sure you experienced this as well, that there is a level of anonymity that we experience as Broadway performers. Yes, people recognize you and that, but the moment that you then broke out onto the scene and you were Angela Robinson to the world, that changes things about how you can be out in the world, and it has an ability that when goodness starts to rise in your life, the enemy gets so busy. And it was something that I was, you watch your words, Robert Hartwell. It was something that I didn't know that I was going to experience, and something that I didn't know my level of faith was going to be able to crush the enemy with my words. I didn't know that my faith was, I said to my mom, I said, I remember back in church, I'd look at the, just somebody wailing, and I'd think to myself, whew, that must be, what are they going through? That must be a hard, that looks like a hard life, and I would always think to myself, oh, I haven't been through much, And then this season happens, and as much good has happened, there's also been people that have tried to distract and take away from this moment. But the faith journey has been, I feel like I'm just in this, I can't, I wish I could put into words how deeply I feel the Father's love, because he's a keeper if you want to be kept.
Mm.